Meine sehr verehrten Damen, meine Herren.
Ladies and gentlemen, I also have some pictures with me, however. We cannot see them here. I hope it's going to work without it, and I think it will. I would like to tell you something about the project that I stand here for, the solar catamaran PlanetSolar Turanor. Turanor is the name of the ship. The name comes from the world of the Lord of the Rings, of Tolkien, and it means something like the power of the sun, or the victory of the sun. And that's precisely what we want, what we are. And this is what the project is about. We want to show everyone that it works indeed, and what Mr. Palmer is doing and what Mr. Picard is doing and they have been doing for quite a while now, and things that they are planning and things that are on a good track to achievement are really very promising. And you have heard earlier today here a fantastic presentation about this project. I'm also a co-pioneer, if you will, because we all are inspired by the same idea and by the same project, i.e. to use the power of the sun for transportation. And when it was about 3 years ago that Raphael Domjan came and approached me, we met, sat down together, and he talked about his project to build a ship. And with that ship, he wanted to go around, travel around the world, just powered by solar energy. I was fascinated right away. And I decided that this is a project that I'm going to support, and I'm also going to be the main promoter of that project. For more than, or almost 20 years now, I've been working in the solar energy industry and the production of the components, solar components, and it's for that reason that this came in handy with my personal concept, and I was fascinated, as I said, and took up this challenge. There were a few drafts for a trimaran which looked perfectly and very beautiful, one with an outstanding property which I had to tell Raphael at the time. In order to show a path that I thought was more promising. That catamaran would have been an ideal sailplane, but it was not stable enough for shipping, for the forces there, and for sea transport. And therefore, we looked for a good boat designer, which we found. And that was in New Zealand, the closest point, if you will, for all of us. And Greg Looms, I think, has done an excellent job in that. And he has designed a wonderful boat. For 2 years now, we have been implemented that boat project in Kiel. We found a shipyard near him that has had a track record of carbon fiber experience, also had experience in large yachts, in particular sailboats, and that have always been very committed to address the challenge of building such a ship. Again, unfortunately, I cannot show you the pictures yet, but we are going to see a small video clip, hopefully so later on, which is also going to give you an impression of the ship and its travel around the world. This boat was completed in the middle of last year. Then we had some test runs, and it turned out to be absolutely seaworthy. This boat is 31 meters long, built as a catamaran, 15 meters wide. So it's a very stable boat, and it's driven by two semi-immersed propellers, which allows the ship to be steered by those propellers. More than 500 square meters are above the surface in terms of solar panels. If I know the details correctly, it's a total of 38,000 solar cells. And these cells produce the electricity for propulsion, so the electricity that is used in the two floats of the boat in lithium batteries. Batteries which in total make up a weight of 11 tons. This gives us ample capacity to travel for 3 days on end without the sun shining. And we also have enough power, a little more than solar impulse, in fact. So rather we are comparable to an old VW Beetle in terms of engine performance. This ship, then, in the last year's late summer, took off on its journey from Monaco with a big farewell party. First heading for the Canary Islands. From there on, they went across the ocean to Miami. And there we had a little event. From there on, continued to Cancun, to the World Climate Conference. I visited that boat right there. Now, from then we continued to our winter facilities for a few weeks, because obviously the crew also had to take some time out to relax. So we parked the boat in Cartagenas in Colombia. And the Colombian hospitality was immensely enjoyed by us, so that was very nice. Now, from there on, we traveled to Panama, through the Panama Canal, which was a very impressive stage, and I had the pleasure of being on board myself. And I, again, immensely enjoyed that. The Panama Canal is an instrumental stage or stepping stone it was, because this was the place where from one ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, we made our way into the Pacific Ocean. For all of us involved in this project, this was a major step ahead. The next stage of that trip was the Galapagos Islands. Now, here again, I would have loved to show you a wonderful picture, because the seals living there came in to conquer our ship, made it their resting place, so they would sit on the floats and on the side booms of the catamaran and bask in the sun, enjoying that excellent climate on that boat. But maybe we will have the chance to see some of it after I'm finished. We stayed a little longer on the Galapagos Islands because it required some maintenance work to be carried out on the boat. Also, we had a look at the ship from underneath and clean it well. Despite anti-fouling agents, some muscles got, attached to the surface of the floats, which slowed down the overall velocity of the ship. And it's now on the Marquis Islands, on its last leg, right in the Pacific Ocean, following a non-stop trip of about 3,000 nautical miles. And that leg again has been completed without any problems, without difficulties. And the boat is now at the high seas. You may have heard of the awful disaster that has occurred this morning in our time in Japan. There was also a tsunami warning, and we didn't want to keep the ship in the coastal area in this dangerous situation. So therefore, we're still at high seas now, and still want to go back to the islands to make sure we have time to prepare the next upcoming legs, which will include a number of Polynesian islands. From there, we want to go to New Caledonia. Next will be an antipode, if you will, to in the Atlantic Ocean. And from there, because this allows us to cross the center point of the Earth. And this is where the two route positions can be connected. This clearly demonstrates that we have indeed sailed around the world without taking any shortcut from there. Next ones then, stopovers will be Australia, and then there'll be a longer stretch with a number of stops in the Asian Pacific area. Then we want to proceed from Hong Kong to Shanghai, possibly all the way to to Japan. Singapore is part of the route schedule as well. Then India, Mumbai, and finally, as we come back through the Red Sea to the Mediterranean, and from there to Monaco, where we expect arrival in the spring 2012. So after our original plan was to be much faster, to take a shorter route, we decided to pick up on a number of route destinations just because the demand was too large. In other words, too many who wanted to see the Turanor Solar, wanted to see that boat in real life, and obviously we are happy to make those concessions to those who want to see it. So, and there we are. Let me mention that also at the end, or after the end of the tour, we want to continue to work with that boat. We want to modify it. That's the plan. And now comes perhaps a closer link to what you might be interested in. We want to use the boat commercially as a passenger vessel for tours, for routes, for charter operations. And possibly it will be first and foremost tours on the Mediterranean Sea, but even going beyond that would be conceivable to offer excellent travel experiences for people, while at the same time familiarizing them with the idea of solar propulsion. All of us working in this project are instilled with enthusiasm and courage to the years and weeks to come. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all those who were so committed and engaged and self-sacrificed in the PlanetSolar project and have supported us and will do so in the future. Particular thanks go to our crew, which obviously for weeks is traveling in isolation despite the new means of communications, obviously. And first of all, that's Raphael Domjan as the initiator and the founder of the project, and who indeed is the spiritual father and driver of that whole project. Patrick Macheseau is our captain with masterly skills and commitment and love, has so far organized this tour. Unfortunately, he's not going to be in a position to be available for the entire length of the journey. He has a new task coming up that he has to face up to, and this has been a fact before. Jens Langwasser from the nearing shipyard is currently still on the boat, who is making sure that the ship is in good condition and in charge of maintenance. And there's Christoph Oxenbarn from Switzerland, who will and did and will focus on the electrical equipment and the interior of the vessel. To all of you, I would like to wish a good journey. I hope we meet again sometime in the Pacific Ocean, somewhere. I hope that you all keep your fingers crossed for our project. I hope you also follow what happens either at hamber.com or solarworld.com, our trip on the web. So we hope for your continued support. Thank you very much.